Hello, everybody. Sorry. Oops. Nope, nope, nope. Boop. Boop. All right. Let's do it. Hey, how are you?
What's up?
Just seeing if I can get the other co-host on. Mm-mm-mm. Here we go. Now we just wait for him to arrive. I have to get these in the bowl. I'm going to do one last count
All right.
of entries. How's your night going?
It's going. We're
It's
getting
going.
ready. Yeah, it's going. We're getting ready for this big week, this big launch. So
Nice.
right back to work right after this live.
Oh my gosh. But it's all worth it though, right?
Yep. I mean, as long as we can keep it continuing impacting dogs' lives, that's all that really matters.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we Oop. And then where's my Bruce? Oh, oh, there we go. And oh. Oh. Okay, one. There you are. Okay. I was wondering. Okay, let me get Bruce on here. Let's tell Stan I'm just finishing up getting the names of the entries folded up and in the bowl. Drawing bowl.
You have a lot
How are
of
y'all?
entries? Did you get
How are
many
y'all?
entries?
I think I got about 20 something.
Okay.
Last time I checked.
Not
Well,
too
20,
shabby.
20, yeah, 20.
Something I can like prop it up, set it.
What's it?
Are you talking to me?
Say? Oh, no. Someone said something about propping something.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I was saying I need to figure out a way to prop this phone up where I don't have to hold it.
Well, so what I used to do, right now I have a, I got a small, like, little tabletop tripod. There's the word I was looking for. But beforehand, what I used to do is I used to open my laptop and I'd have it leaning against my open laptop.
Yeah, we're
So
trying to
that way I could also interact with the with like the comments and stuff, and still be able to interact with y'all on the live. But where is Bruce? Bruce, where's my two trains? Oh, there he is. I see him. All right. Un momento, Bruce. Adding you now. Okay, so one of us has an echo.
What's up? What's
I
happening
think one of us
with
has
y'all? What's going on, huh?
nothing
Man,
much.
I don't know it, man. What's going on with y'all?
Everything's good over here.
Nice. Someone
Great.
has an echo.
It ain't
I
me.
swear, like I'm hearing myself.
Could be you. Is that me?
It
I
could
hear
be
it
you.
too.
Can only be one other person.
Hey, look. She was saying it before I even got on.
Yeah, I was about to say. No, I was hearing it before Bruce got on.
Kind of sounds like you.
But the thing is it sounds like me, and I don't have any other things on. Like I have my Facebook open so that I can do all the comments, but I don't have any other speakers on of any kind.
Could be this mic that is hearing you from.
Oh.
No. That's not it.
What does it sound like?
We're gonna process of elimination it. Goodness gracious. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, I swear. All right, I'm gonna open up the
What does it?
I have no microphone on. I'm speaking directly to my phone speaker.
It only comes on when you talk.
Well, I know. I'm the only one that can hear me, but y'all are hearing me too. Here, 1 second. 1 second. Y'all, one by one, say something and see if it echoes.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
You.
Yeah. Oh my God, it'd be me. I'll turn the mic off.
I told you we were going to process of elimination this until it works. I figured we would figure it out. We're intelligent people. Okay. So, Stan, welcome back.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey, that was a quick turnaround, Stan. That was a quick turnaround, man.
Yeah.
The quickest we ever had on the show.
Yeah, I'm thinking about just periodically just randomly jumping on people's lives
I
as
like
I promote this vest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Did you get your stock in and everything?
it's going to be done tomorrow or Friday, and then we're doing an early release on Friday because we're going to get the inventory the week of May 15th, but there's so much demand on the product. We're probably going to sell out this weekend.
God,
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
man, it's going on like that.
Yeah. We can't supply the demand right now. So it's a good quality problem, you know. It's kind of like
Sounds like a Shark Tank issue to me.
Yeah, you know, we've been invited on there. We just haven't accepted it yet. We're trying to get all our systems in place, and when we're able to present, we want to be able to present in a professional manner. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's with the advertising you guys have been doing and everything like that. I foresee you definitely selling out sooner rather than later, especially considering the additions that you've made and whatnot to the actual rounds. So,
Yeah.
but one of the things that I know that when we were talking about having you back on, like towards the end of April, you know, we were tossing around ideas of you know, what we wanted to talk about, and I know that something that popped up that we really wanted to discuss was nutrition and training and fitness when it comes to preparation for shows, because you know, show season is in full swing now.
Yeah.
You know, we've got shows back
and I
to
think
back.
that's
So
especially with the sporting and confirmation, it's a pretty big deal. It gives your dog, you know, I always say it gives your dog a competitive edge in life, but it gives your dog a definitely competitive edge in show ring, you know, for certain. So we just jumped into. I just got done doing some filming with some AKC boar bulls, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of crazy. We started going down the list of all these different breeds that are showcasing for the national championship. And man, we're working with a lot of dogs. And one of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest reasons, you know, it improves top line posture, gait, and it just took a while to, you know, it took a few years to break through and, you know, really educate the consumer, because everybody really initially just thought it was there to, you know, improve performance levels and just tire dogs out, but it's just a versatile product. So we're working on the education side.
oh, absolutely.
Big time right now.
Definitely. And I mean, and nothing's better proof in the pudding than, you know, watching dogs not just obviously perform better in a general sense, like in the show ring, outside, whatever the case may be, but also how their, you know, how their existence has changed, their temperament, you know, things like that. And again, that's not even just the vest, that's the way you feed them as well, that can change all of those things. So with that said, that's definitely, I think you're spot on with that, you know, needing to be a good focal point for tonight. So first and foremost, we definitely want to thank you for, one, just obviously coming on here and talking with us again about all this this stuff. It's hyper necessary. But two, also for being willing to provide a fun drawing for our viewers. With you have two leash and collar combos, one camo, one black. That's you've essentially donated for us to give a drawing for. So we will be doing that towards the end of the live. I'll be drawing names from those who have entered successfully. So with that said, let's go ahead and Stan, take it away, man. How you wanna start the conversation? Want to start it with feeding, or do you want to start it
Yeah,
with like the exercise? Where do you want to go?
let's talk about nutrition first. When we talk about nutrition, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head when we talk about the dog's overall personality. When you think on the human side, children nowadays are dealing with more autism and behavior issues. They're just more hyperactive, and it has a lot to do with our diets. I know when I eat like shit and I eat processed foods and stuff now, like I get super lethargic,
Oh,
and that's one of the common things that it's just something that's become an epidemic, because when you go to the grocery store, everything that's affordable and everything that is at eye level is it's right there for you. And maybe a conspiracy theory or anything like that, but I just feel like the more consciously we are aware of what we put in our body, it is a big difference. I mean, the food source is an energy source, and I went down a rabbit hole with, I forget the guy's name, but he's like a longevity guy. He's like trying to biohack his body to live long, right? And he goes days, I mean, and sometimes even weeks without eating, and his energy levels are through the roof. The thing that we have issues with is that we're not disciplined enough to break through those plateau barriers of getting those headaches and those mood swings those first 3 or 4 days. But when you break through those first few days, it's just like anything. It's like when it comes to dogs, we unnecessarily overfeed them, but you can train the metabolism. I've talked about this quite often. You can absolutely train the metabolism to where your dog is going to convert more calories by feeding them a consistent calorie source compared to just unnecessarily overfeeding them. And your dog will actually gain weight, by feeding less. So one of the big things that we're doing on the education side is now that the price of dog food is going up so high, is teaching people how to feed a proper diet, whether you're feeding processed kibble or you're feeding raw, how to maximize the caloric intake. I mean, it'll save you a lot of shit picking up, and you get better results. I actually been working with Caleb a little bit on that, and he's saying that he's starting to see really good results with it just by adding a healthy fat source, which healthy fat is readily available and super affordable. You can get it at your grocery stores, or you probably have them in your shelves right now. And a tablespoon of olive oil or coconut oil or any type of animal rendered cooking fat, you can get a jar between, I don't know, depends on the quality, $5 to $15, and you're going to get 30-40 servings out of that, and every tablespoon is 130 calories, and it's a easily available ready source. So a lot of people spend a lot of money on like all these weight gainers and stuff like that. And this is coming from somebody who one of our top selling products is a weight gainer, but our weight gainer has different nutrients in it, like creatine and DMG and all these other amino acids like L-arginine and stuff like that. Outside of the fat source, because we understand that. And so you'd be surprised what a tablespoon or two of a healthy fat source would do when it comes to natural weight gain and proper weight gain. And so it's not going to cause inflammation like, what you would get out of a tablespoon of a healthy fat source. You're probably going to convert more calories out of that than you would a cup or two of processed dog food, just because dog food is going to cause inflammation. And once it causes inflammation, your dog's body's not going to absorb the nutrients anyway, so it's going to pass it. And that's why you have big stools.
Because I know that the last time that you were on, you'd mentioned that it's got like feeding a healthy raw diet, a complete raw diet, makes it so they may poop maybe once a day.
Yeah,
maybe.
And it's a lot smaller. But if you are feeding processed kibble, then hydrate your kibble so your dog can convert those calories and break it down a lot more efficiently. And then add some whole food. When people ask about supplements, I always let's start with whole food sources first. Then once we get that down, if you want to take it to the next level, then we can incorporate supplements. But supplements are only going to work if there's a nutritional deficit in your dog's diet. If your dog has a high protein diet, you throw more protein supplement on it, it's not going to do too much, right?
Yeah.
So
it's creating an overabundance.
Yeah. So it's more about consistency and what you put in your dog's diet. That'll make a massive difference in proper weight gain. Not a fat dog, but building muscle density, which is really big and prevalent, and I think super important in the conformation show ring. So,
Yeah. Yeah. When they're looking at, the musculature of the dog, it's obviously that's going to have a massive effect. It's, because especially if you're trying to build the endurance, because it's not even just muscle, it's endurance.
Yeah.
These dogs are doing 4 shows a day, 6 shows total if it's a 2-day event, maybe even up to 8. Hannah mentioned there's a show this weekend where it's like 8 in California.
Well, think
I was
about
like,
this.
2 days, 4 shows each. I was like, oh my God. Like,
No, you're right about that. And one of the tips that I give our clients is, bring yourself some healthy fat, because your dog probably, one, is going to be in a stressed out area in the show ring, right? The show that's in an unfamiliar environment. Then next, you got to think about your dog's not going to eat a bunch of dog food, and
That's right.
if you give your dog a healthy fat source, it's going to boost their energy levels, because fat equals energy, and it's much easier to take down a tablespoon. And especially we saw this on the dog sporting side, where dogs were performing much more efficiently and even better on jumps like 3 and 4, or races 3 and 4 compared to 1 and 2.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
absolutely. Now,
so
do you?
What are some healthy fat sources that you prefer?
I prefer, the number one source is always going to be animal fat. So you can go to your grocery store, get beef tallow, chicken fat, duck fat, lard, grass-fed butter. Those are like some of the ones that I recommend, but you can also use olive oil, coconut oil, chia seed oil, flaxseed oil, hemp oil. Just kind of do some research on the fats that you use and make sure that you're not putting them through any heating processes. One thing I love about hemp oil is that it has 3, 6, and 9, omega 3, 6, and 9 in it. But the problem is it's really green, so sometimes the dogs won't eat it, if you're kind of overfeeding them. So, but if you can get your dog to eat hemp oil, it's a really good oil as well.
You wouldn't happen to have an idea of where to get your hands on some of that hemp oil, would you?
Yeah, I mean, Whole Foods, Sprouts, any store like that usually has them. You can probably find them at some Walmarts or Kroger's or any grocery store, but you have to go down and to a section where you find like hemp seeds and stuff like that. They'll have them in the cooking, like a baking section.
Or they keep like the actual like flaxseed and yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with those, you got to make sure if it's not an oil that you blend them, that you break the exterior barrier. A lot of people always thought, brown rice is more superior than white rice. And the reason why a lot of dog food companies use brown rice and they make it healthy, because it takes fiber. They say fiber, but there's really not much fiber in it. There's not enough fiber to do anything. And if your dog can't break it down, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to access that fiber.
Yeah.
But it's just easier to take that product and not have to put it through another process, which will cost the company additional revenue to go through it. But white rice is far superior.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I noticed mine like coconut oil.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Especially before a show, like if they're having loose bowels or anything like that.
Yeah.
Due to nerves, because mine, as soon as I start loading up the truck, they already know.
Yeah.
They already know we're going, and that's the bag he takes when we go, and we're fixing
that dopamine drop, that marker,
and they sometimes it'll mess their stomach up a little bit, and coconut oil seems to help with that, and it actually, which was surprising to me. I would think, if you put coconut oil on their food, that it would loosen their bowels, but instead it can fix it.
That's an energy source. Like you give your dog a slice of bread or a piece of protein, they'll give you a mile. You give them some healthy fats, they're going to give you 2 1/4 mile. Like a lot of our racing dogs, like greyhounds and stuff, they're on 40-50% fat diets. Like they understand, and they're shredded. There's not an ounce of fat on them.
Nope.
So yeah, that's one of those things. That's what I really focus on. Why spend, $20-$30 on some Dine or some, some bottled fat source. You can also do fish oil as well. Just make sure that it's not oxidized or not exposed to air, because then it'll oxidize and then it'll just become rancid. And so that's
super, super fast. Yeah. You got to be, you got to be careful with those fish oils.
Yeah. And then with dog food, they'll tell you that salmon oil in there, but they put a ton of preservatives in it, to sustain shelf life. So it's just better to get you a good dark bottle, something, maybe glass bottle or dark bottle that's really, really dark. Keep them at room temperature and do that. Or, and even, another thing is creating your own homemade bone broth, and don't throw away the fat cap on it. That fact, a lot of people throw that away, and
Yep.
I'm like, it's wasted calories right there. You're throwing down the drain.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
that's
We actually have a farmer's butcher pretty close,
even better.
and they will give me all the bones I want
Yeah.
for free. So
Mhm.
I've got a full size trash bag full of bones in my deep freezer out here.
Well, what I love about bones like that is that it has the marrow in it, and then those bones are full of minerals, and so bone broth is an excellent source.
Yeah, it's
So,
got phosphorus in it, and
I sip on it
oh yeah,
every
every
now and then.
day. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good for
yeah,
your stomach. It's good for
yeah.
reducing inflammation, and then when you have less inflammation, higher calorie conversion.
But make sure you get the one for sipping though, because some of that stuff it ain't that good. If you get this one that's for sipping, it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, you can go get some box. I mean, you're going to pay a little bit more, but it's worth it. But again, if you can make your own, even better. And it doesn't take very long to make an abundant amount. I mean, you got a crock pot, you can make yourself an abundant amount and use it from scraps that you're already using anyways. You're eating food anyway. Some of them have bones in it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like this one right here.
Yep. Let me see the guaranteed analysis on it, or the product facts on the side.
Yeah, and if you think that's a good one, Stan.
Yeah, it's lower in sodium than most. You'll see some with
Yeah,
like 500 milligrams of sodium.
yeah. I
And
stay away
so,
from that.
yeah. So just
Yeah.
get your own. I talk about it all the time. Celtic salt. Get you some Celtic salt. Put it on your tongue. Then sip on that. And
I'm gonna look that back up and put it in the comments again,
Hey,
because I
look.
remember people
Hey,
going
look. And
about
it's
that.
got 9 grams of protein too. That's
yeah,
what I like about it, because I consume protein. I get protein from it also.
yeah, that's good. I mean, that it looks like a pretty good brand right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got it from Walmart, and if you see, it's unsalted.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
would you be willing to do a huge favor, Bruce, and type the brand and where you got it in the comments if you could, because because I'm gonna. Same thing I did last time Stan came and dropped a bunch of knowledge on us. So it's like, here's this product you just pitched. Here's this one you just pitched. Like just throwing it in the comments for y'all.
And
Make
So
sure
they
kettle
you
were
fire,
guys
they were
kettle
looking
fire
at
is a
how
little
to
bit.
hydrate the human body,
Say
and
what?
because a lot of people are drinking plenty of water and still not truly actually hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching the whole thing on that, and they were talking about Celtic salt being the number one way, because if you take like a teaspoon of Celtic salt into like a gallon of filtered water,
Yeah,
that salt in the water, I think you stir it up in like a small glass coffee cup, and then whatever settles, you just let it fall. You don't stir it back up. You just let whatever falls fall, and then pour the rest into the gallon. And
Nice.
by doing that and putting the Celtic salt in there, it allows the salt helps penetrate the
the
cell. So actually, when you
magnesium.
drink
Yeah,
in fluid, you're actually flushing your body out from everything. You're not actually hydrating yourself like you should be, but the salt allows the hydration to penetrate the cell, and it's the same for the dogs too.
yeah. We talked about it last time. Just putting it on your tongue. Does a world of difference, and like you said, it helps the water get into the cells. When I was drinking a gallon of water a day, but I was probably pissing out 2 gallons of water a day, and
Right.
my lips were chapped, and I was like, man, why I'm drinking so much water? Why are my
Right
lips
now,
chapped?
it's so much
It was
water.
dehydrating me drinking that much
And
water.
flushing out your nutrients.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
So
All those times you take vitamins, and I mean, same thing with dogs. Anytime you take a vitamin that literally says it's X amount, like percentage of the daily need, and it's over 100%.
yeah, and it's one of those things. I had a product called Ignite Canine, which was an electrolyte supplement. It just had potassium, calcium, sodium, everything that you find in electrolyte. But the Celtic salt has 82 minerals, and Celtic salt is a natural electrolyte. And so I didn't feel good about selling it. And once I figured it out, I was like, I didn't feel really good about selling Ignite Canine to people, because I was just like, there's just a much more affordable route to go,
Yeah.
and a better,
Oh,
superior
sure.
route. So, all our clients, who compete in high performance sports or anything like that, even if they're not competing in high performance sports, when I started recommending Celtic salt, it got rid of ear infections, tear stains, heat stains, stuff like that. So you'd be surprised, man. Just, people don't want us to know this because it kills their bottom line. At the end of the day, the whole pet industry it's just like the human industry. They're going to try to get as much bottom line out of you as they possibly can, especially if you're uneducated.
Oh, yeah. It could be. It's just one of those things where they're banking on people not reading up and not making themselves comfortable with the idea of doing things outside of what people have told them in the past that obviously isn't working.
Well, that's why they're trying to get rid of TikTok. TikTok is becoming a very informational, educational platform now. If you just got to kind of sift through and find the right individuals, but you find
That's
the right
right.
individuals,
For
you're going
sure.
to get educated like crazy.
Yeah, there's some things on TikTok. I was just like, wait a minute. And then, of course, then
Yeah.
again, you also have the crazy conspiracy theories with like flat Earth and stuff. And so you're just like, in that moment, you're sitting there like,
Yeah.
but yes.
But yeah, just sifting through and finding, the right individuals to follow, and you can get extremely educated. There's some very, very smart individuals on these social media platforms.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if that's how they're the best method by which to get their information out in such rapid succession, of course, that's the route they're taking. I don't see why not.
Yep.
Now, I do have a question. Okay, so there are going to be some shows coming up here where it's going to be multiple day events, and so the people that are traveling more than just an hour or so, or if it's out of town, they plan on staying the night wherever they're going. What kind of food or sustenance would you recommend for a scenario like that?
Well, just, you don't want to switch up your dog's diet, but, like, for example, if you are feeding a processed kibble, we talked about it earlier, just making sure you have, healthy options there as well. That's easy to absorb. And the reason why I always push raw a little bit more is because your dog's going to more likely eat it. And then next, they're going to be able to utilize more of the caloric intake. So your dog's not going to lose weight going on day 2 and 3,
Yeah.
And so, that's the main thing. Every dog is different. Every dog is unique. So as we coach, as I coach our clients, it's one of those things where I have at least some information and some history with their dogs to be able to educate them, because they'll tell me like, hey, yeah, we went to show 2. My dog wouldn't eat the day before, the
Yes,
second day.
I've heard that a lot. Where either they literally they will not eat. Like you have to literally almost force feed them. A friend of mine, like she has to spoon feed them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You
it's
got
one
to
of those
get
things. It's
creative.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You got to get creative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things. And doing mock trials, taking your dogs and taking them to events that they're not going to be competing at. And if you have the, the capital to do it or the funds to do it, to go take them through some mock trials to get them, acclimated
Right.
to the systems and the habits that you guys have going to the shows. Like you said, as soon as you, get the car or get that truck run, they know what's up. They already know what's up. So they've been through that process. So, it's just like anything else. You don't take a soldier to war without, getting him in some scenarios that'll prepare them for, worst case scenarios.
So,
Absolutely. Now, as far as fitness goes, because again, we talked about endurance. It's not just muscle, but endurance that this breed needs, especially for multiple show events. What would you recommend, and how soon would you recommend starting that?
I mean, it should be a lifestyle. Your dog should have all the work done at least a week before. Your dog should be conditioned going into the show. You shouldn't be worried about conditioning your dog 2 or 3 weeks before the show. And knowing where you're going. Your dog, say they're going to Colorado and they're going to deal with high altitude.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to make sure that they're it's going to be hard to mimic that, but the best thing you can do is just have them conditioned and ready to go. Again, consistency is the key, right? Consistent nutritional program, consistent daily habits on your lifestyle, and just environments, things that they're familiar with. If they have a kennel that, if you're going to take them to a show and they're in an unfamiliar kennel, that could cause some issues, so making sure that their crates and stuff are very familiar. Their bedding, their towels, whatever you have in there, taking them through those routines prior. So when the time comes, show day, you're not trying to train,
Yeah, getting
you're not trying to
those
work
last
out
minute
poor
items.
habits.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Like I know that, like, I personally, when I get to shows, I go ahead and once I get settled in, I'll take it, my dog, a couple rounds in the ring, just kind of do some quick practice and then put him back. But it's one of those things that it's not 100% necessary. But a lot of that boils down to preparation, just like you said, not trying to put everything in just this last minute like crunch, because that can obviously cause undue stress. Obviously, the best would help.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And, like I
Funny
know some
enough, you
handlers.
have.
Yeah, I know some handlers that take their bullies to different training places where they just focus on handling. If you can mimic the show ring, but I think that's a great idea of a great suggestion to take them in prior to the show, get them used to the ring because rings are different, But if you can mimic the carpet, mimic the whole environment, I think that helps. I mean, when you talk about when we work with, when we were doing a lot of MMA with my son and stuff like that. We're always on the mats, or a lot of the cage fighters that I know, they're in the octagon or in the ring way before showtime, visualizing it, and then making sure your energy levels are calm. The dog's going to feed off your energy. So if you're frustrated, the dog's going to feel that. And if you're happy, the dog's going to feel that.
Oh, for sure. Christina, our co-host Mike, she's in the comments asking something I also want to know your thoughts on. What do you just suggest kind of as a daily training routine when you're trying to get them ready for confirmation shows?
I mean, short sessions, right? Like, kind of, the timing you're going to be in the ring. Try to mimic that. Anything you can mimic to mock it, go through your mock trials is going to be pivotal. Like for example, fast cat is or dock diving. They're dock diving. They're doing fast cat, but they got their 200-yard runs. But I've
Yeah,
seen
that's it.
dogs that trained outdoors, then went indoors and shut down because of the echo and the noises. It was just completely different. So you got to know what environment you're going into and try to mimic that as much as possible.
Gotcha. And I've noticed I got better results when I started taking my dogs to places like Lowe's, Home Depot, not even Tractor Supply, because unless you have a different level of Tractor Supply, my Tractor Supply is never really busy enough or loud enough where it's going to do much of any good. So, but with Lowe's and Home Depot, I mean, it's just noisy and there's a million smells and there's tons of people and it's just so noisy. It's so busy. And so it's one of those things where that's what I've done is I take them there, and that's where I do those small little 10, 15-minute sessions where you just sit there and you run them through the motions, but you're doing it in a setting that is so hyper distracting that they have to focus,
The more unique environments, will get your dog more acclimated. Like if you got your dog inside your house and you're just working your confirmation inside the house or in the garage or in your yard, it's not going to be the same. When you take them to that show ring, it's a brand new environment and it's unfamiliar, and you're going into enemy territory in a way. And if you're really serious about competing, those details matter. Especially if you're trying to go for a national championship. I mean, just for example, they talked about the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight this past weekend, and no one really talked about it. But Devin Haney trained in some Nike shoes the whole entire camp. Then he went in there and he wore some different boxing shoes. And it may or may not have made a difference, but it brought up the conversation, because Garcia trained and fought in the same shoes. It's just one of those things. Using a familiar lead, whatever drives your dog, whatever gets your dog to, like whether it's a ball or whatever you do to get your dog to that you're going to utilize in the show ring, utilize that tool when you're not in the show ring. So that way they understand, what the game is.
Well, and I know that a lot of people, it's one of those, when it comes to leads and whatnot, a lot of folks feel like there is one tried and true, right? Only one type of lead works. And from what I've seen, that could kind of paint yourself into a corner, especially if it makes your dog incredibly uncomfortable. You're going to meet with a lot more resistance than you ought. I was talking to, as a matter of fact, this last weekend, at the show in Troy that Candy had, the Spring Break Bully Bash. I was talking to Teresa Gonzalez, and she makes basically several different types of show leads. Anything from the snake lead to even like Cuban or Figaro chains, but also there's one that's actually woven across the part where it would be right against the neck. And it kind of depends on what your dog responds best to, but I mean it's you definitely don't want to go in there with a lead that they're not familiar with, or a type of lead that they're not familiar with, because that could change their entire performance as well.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I mean, we talk about, like, for example, baseball players, they don't they don't use a brand new glove for each game. They have a game glove that they practice in and they break in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've personally, every time I got a new glove, I didn't just go ahead and start playing with it like out in the field during a game.
Yeah.
I threw that stuff in the gravel and drove over it several times before I even started practicing with it, let alone playing with it in a game. No way.
Hey, hated to get a new glove. Hated to.
Hate it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this thing, no, I'm sorry, I hate it. Yeah, I'm with you, Bruce. I'm with you.
I use my show lead, snake lead, to kind of put my dog in a mode. Like I don't, unless I'm show training or showing, I don't even get that lead out.
Right.
So when I get it out and I'm sliding that over him, he knows like it's time for business.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts him, it triggers him. It's like a trigger to put him in that mode.
Yeah.
And it works. It does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes total sense for sure.
Oh yeah. I too have like collars that I have on them when we're in the house, when it's just something casual, but like when it's time to train or, we're at a show, it's the same leads.
Yeah.
It's the same leads that, are for that only, so that way they know where they're at. Oh my gosh.
Look, Ron had a question. I know y'all guys seen it. He said he never been to a bully show, but are you allowed to bring your bully as a guest visitor with you? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can, especially if you're showing other dogs. You could bring an extra dog that you're not showing, but it depends on the registry too, though, Bruce, because I've noticed ABKC is kind of tightening down on that.
Yeah.
They don't want a lot of people coming to meet up to do breedings and do different things and not showing their dogs. There is some there, but not very much. Not at ABKC here lately.
Yeah, they don't even they don't let you do that in AKC either. Like, if the dog's not showing, it's not entering the ring, it's not entering the area.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I think they started doing it with this kennel cough that was real bad last
Yeah.
year.
And nationals,
And then they kind of liked the way they're like, you know what? Let's continue to do this. It was good.
Yeah.
It was working. It was working. It does cut down on stress levels for the dogs that are there. It obviously, less people are walking around with their dogs on a lead, causing forms of congestion around the rings and whatnot. So it definitely does help. Now, every once in a while, I'll bring a dog, and I decide that moment whether or not they're going in the ring, because it kind of depends on where I'm at mentally and where they're at mentally. Because either I can make a donation to the registry or I cannot. So sometimes that decision's not made until I'm already there.
I've noticed that part of it too is, like people that are showing their dogs and training their dogs for the show, it's all a familiar thing. And so, just another way that the dogs get in the mode. But then if you have people there that don't show their dogs, they're just bringing their dogs there. Those dogs are like feral compared to the show dogs. They're not used to that environment, and it's very distracting to the dogs that are in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
they're just people walking around, dogs barking, people are, it's just a little different. It's kind of like distracting. It's distracting to the dogs, I also noticed too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're gonna feed off that stress energy. They're like, why are you stressed
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Are we running? Oh my gosh. Now you'd mentioned it before earlier, but not in too much detail. But there was a question as far as workout routines. Obviously, not like training routines per se, but workout routines
Yeah.
for preparing a dog for show. Because again, endurance being a big factor into that, as well as discipline. Are there any specific exercise routines that you think are, bar none, probably the best that you could do with your dog for conformation shows for prep?
I mean, I always believe in drag work. Any drag work, and then what I recommend, it just depends on what the goal is. Sometimes the goal is to lose weight, sometimes the goal is to add weight, so it just depends. If you're looking to add muscle density, which in most show conformations, that's what you're kind of looking for in the bully community, you're going to want to do, heavier impact, heavier weighted type stuff, short periods, and, less reps, compared to.
I stand. So you talking about harness type drag weight, right?
Yeah, so I mean, you can do the weight pull harness, which is like a Y harness, and then your dog can drag more. The XDog vest, we have a weighted drag bag that you can do some drag work with it. Again, every dog is different. For our high velocity dogs that are competing in dog sport, we're going to focus on more fast twitch fibers, and compared to conformation, where we're looking at muscle density and showcasing the muscles a little bit different, more. So, again, it starts with nutrition and. It's easy to put weight on a dog, but it takes some work to put some muscle density on a dog. A lot of people have unrealistic, I get people at me all the time, their dog is an adult dog and they're like, I want to add 15 to 20 pounds. And I'm just like, do you know how hard it is to add 15 to 20 pounds? Let's look at the percentage.
I could tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell you.
Let's focus on like 5%. Like if your dog's 100 pounds and he gains 5 pounds of muscle, that's going to take you probably 90 days if you do it right, so where your dog's still conditioned and, your dog is, it just takes some work, man, and you're going to need tools and, nothing activates muscles better than resistance training. It's undeniable. There's nothing that has more articles. There's nothing that's been more studied by major universities, Ivy League universities, that activates muscle better than resistance training. That's why there's so many gyms. You never see a bodybuilder. How many bodybuilders do you know that build muscle without using resistance? It's very unheard of. And people will say, well, what about push-ups and pull-ups and those who use do non-weights? They're still using resistance because they're going against gravity.
And
So if you're
calisthenics
pulling
is the same
yourself up,
thing. You're using your own body weight as resistance.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So essentially, resistance is resistance is resistance. It doesn't matter in what form.
Yeah, and there might be ways to do it, but at the end of the day, the most superior way is resistance training. Whether it's weight resistance.
Diet.
Yeah, and the right diet.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Now, Adam was asking, as far as doing the weight pulling and everything, do you suggest that to be done daily? And then obviously, you slowly increase the weight as it goes along. But do you have a recommendation for the rate of increase? How often, you let them drag, or is it obviously
low and slow.
It's situational for each dog, but
yeah, low and slow. Few days on, day on, day off, day on, day off. Make sure your dog's getting rest. Again, depends on if you're doing lightweight, you can do it more often. But like we had a dog named Destiny who. There's like 3 different organizations in the weight pool, and she trifected like 7 years in a row. She was a 20-pound dog pulling 7,000 pounds, on rails. So, she was just a remarkable dog, and she was fit and stuff like that. But she was more on the performance side of weight pulling, because you still have to be an athlete compared to if I'm just trying to get ready for a conformation show. It's 2 different types of conditioning programs.
No, absolutely. That's definitely fair. I'm looking through some of these questions questions. They love asking you questions, man. I'll give. Whew.
I stand.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me ask you this. I used to be in weight pool too. I had a sled and everything, but I got rid of my sled. Okay, but I still have a weight pool wagon. I still have my wagon. I hadn't used it in a while, but you do you do make vests, right? You said
I don't
you do
make
make.
weight pull vest, but the XDog vest does have a drag bag accessory.
Yes.
It'll
Okay,
drag up
okay,
to about 35 pounds. You can fill it up to about 35 pounds.
okay,
It's more than enough to get the job done.
okay.
Because
I got you.
Absolutely.
you're combining that with the weighted vest,
Yeah,
and so the reason why I like drag work is just because it turns any level surface into you get the benefits of a hill workout, and not everybody has access to hills all the time.
yeah,
And so it works to stabilize their muscles that surround the joints, ligaments, and tendons, and it'll tighten up the feet if you do it right, and
Yes. Yep.
it
Correct
works.
that.
It's a full body workout.
Frustration.
Yeah, it's a full. Everybody thinks it just works rear, but it's a full body workout. When it's like, anything. If you climb a mountain, you're not just going to use your legs. You're
Yeah.
going to use some of your upper body as well. So
yeah.
it's a full. It's probably my favorite exercise, or most highly recommended exercise.
You also have a really fun accessory for your vests, the chute.
Yeah, the X-Dog Performance Parachute. It's different than a human parachute. We initially started out with a human parachute, but like mouths were popping the umbrellas because the torque on it was just too much. So what
Yeah.
we did to fix that problem, and which I think I'm going to introduce it on the human side, is we added a bungee cord. It's like just a bungee cord. So you can start out with level 1 just by using the bungee cord. The faster your dog runs, the higher the resistance, right? And then we have a flat lead extension, so you can connect it to the end of the bungee cord, and it'll lengthen it up, which will add in the level 2 resistance. And then you can take the bungee cord and run it through the center D-ring and double up the bungee, and that'll add a level 3 resistance to it.
Physics, y'all. Physics. Very important.
Man, we got some questions. We got some questions. About 3 different questions on
Shoot
here.
them.
Yeah, Bruce,
Um,
you wanna read them?
yeah. So in your opinion, an expert, what's the proper or best height for XL to have with how girthy the dog is? How they judge? Is there a limit within the height of the dog?
I'll let you guys answer that. You guys are in the show ring. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me read it again. Let's see.
Run.
Yeah. 1 second, Ron. We're looking at it.
Is he asking what's the recommendation
What's
Um,
for an
the
XL?
product?
so Ron, to be honest, you're looking from 20 inches to 23 for males. 23, you're going to end up and this is all at the withers. Like 23, you're going to get probably a little bit longer of a body. So ideal height, if you're really looking to keep it closer to the breed standard itself, which is essentially verbatim the standard, only taller. Then you're going to want to keep closer to that 2021 height at the withers. And as far as girth is concerned, again, it's all proportions. You're looking for that H frame in the front. You're looking for the width versus length versus height ratios, the same you would with a standard. And again, it is literally the standard, only taller. So yeah, as far as XLs go, my recommendation is to keep them short and stout, just like you would a standard. But yeah, you're gonna have some dogs that are taller and longer, but they still are. What the judges are looking for is the breed standard itself. Obviously, your dog is competing not against other XLs in the ring; they're competing against the breed standard. So the breed standard is what you're going to want to actually try to adhere to. So that would be my recommendation: is a shorter, stouter XL, more
There was a
competitive.
dog, I think 2 years ago, that was like a smaller XL. I think his name was Dooley. He was like right on the edge. Like it was like one of those things where it was like he was right at that edge. But when I looked at him, he didn't look like an XL, but
Mhm.
he was really close to the standards, or he was
Mhm.
closer to the standards than other dogs. And he's just a well put together dog.
Oh yeah.
So
There's some dogs out there where literally the XLs that are literally right at that height breach, where in the way that they're shaped, their stature, everything about them, their head size, all of it. If you look at a picture, you don't know it's an XL. Someone would have to tell you, or they'd have to be standing in the picture next to the dog for you to be like, "Is that an XL? Hot dang!"
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
If you have to ask yourself, what class is that? Because there's no reference within the picture other than the dog itself.
Mhm.
If there's no way to figure out height-wise in contrast to what's around it, that's what you want. You shouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, and this past weekend when I did that photo shoot with the Borbals, I mean, they're these dogs were 180, 190 pounds, but they were clean. Like they had tight feet. They were well proportioned dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the XLs could they could get there, but man, I was just blown away how clean they were. They were just well balanced dogs.
Yeah. Hey, Raul got a question too.
Yep.
He said, which protein would you prefer for muscle growth when weight pulling? Fast acting whey for dogs or slow acting casein? Well, I'm gonna tell you my point of view on that because I lift weights. When I get done, I want something fast to spike my insulin level. You know what I'm saying? Casein is for like at night when I go to sleep. It feeds the muscles all the whole night. You know what I'm saying? What you think about that, Stan?
Yeah, it's slower absorbing. I'm always going to say, raw beef, raw beef first. But between whey and casein, if it was between those two, yeah, I would say whey.
No doubt.
Even whey isolate too is higher absorbing. Just I would research. If you're going to go with protein powders, research protein powders. Just look up something and say what's fast absorbing versus slow absorbing. And casein is going to be on the slow end.
Slow.
And that's probably why you're taking it at night.
Yep.
Nice. As far as like, obviously your more intensive training and obviously, trying to healthfully, I guess, add weight. What's the beginning age-wise that you would recommend? Would you recommend waiting until after 18 months, or do you think they could start sooner?
For weight training?
Mm-hmm.
I would research, your dog. For example, smaller breeds, you can start earlier compared to larger breeds. We don't recommend weight training or exercises in general until they're at least 12 months or until the growth plates are fully infused. So just make sure your dog's growth plates are fully infused. Every dog's going to be different, and you're just going to have to do the research if you don't actually go get x-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Well, they had said at one time that, for XLs, I know that that 18 months is when the bone plates seal, but I noticed in the last year they kind of pushed that date back a little bit,
Yeah.
a little closer to 2 years, just to be certain, at least, 22, 24 months. So,
And if you want to go another route, just keep it low and simple, because building those stabilizer muscles are critical. A lot of the weight pullers, they're pulling pretty early, they're pretty early, but again, just a rule of thumb, just to be safe, like you said, 18 to 24 months would probably be safe. But again, that's what's great about the XDog vest. You can start utilizing that and start applying 1 to 2% of its body weight and just start there.
Nice.
That's not going to cause any issues.
Now, speaking of the weight vest, you got that V-4 Max coming out this week. Well,
Yeah.
essentially like at the end of this week. So we did have some folks asking earlier if you could kind of go into a little detail as to like what differentiates this from the previous vest. Like what additions have you made? What improvements have you made?
Well, we relocated the fitness bands. The elastic bands are on the shoulders now, and so if you have a wider dog, it should fit better. And so and then we added the hook and loop lock system was on the 3.5, but with it being here, you can actually adjust it to apply the amount of distance on the resistance that you want in the shoulder. And then we only added 2 weight pockets on the side. We have medical grade weighted gel packs as well. But we're down to 5 sizes now. We've modified it to 5 sizes instead of 12, and so the weight ranges of where it can fit a dog is much broader now, which is going to save us a lot of returns, because having 10 to 15 pound differences it was getting out of hand. So that's the main thing. But I think the overall fit is just better now. You can adjust it and modify it to where a lot of those bully breeds, man, it was just kind of like really tight around here, and so being able to adjust the shoulders is pivotal.
Oh, absolutely. Now, so we already have the accessories that you've discussed already, like the drag bag, the parachute. Are there any other accessories that are going to be coming out kind of in tandem with this new vest, or is it like that those are the oldies and goldies, and those are also going to work with this vest as well?
Yeah, so the drag bag and the performance parachute, I don't know if we can make those any better,
I don't. They're
Um,
awesome.
but the resistance band, we initially had it to where it would connect to the back two D ring, so you got a lot of the forward movement on resistance. But what we're doing now with it is we're adding, we've updated the clips, and we're going to add a tug or a bite pillow to it, to where you can actually have like a basically portable spring pole, and so you can get start working the necks and the back shoulder areas. That's probably going to be the only thing that we change. We're remodifying the fit collar, which is a weighted collar. We now kind of got the sizes figured out on that. That was a little rude awakening, because we had too many sizes there, and the lion's share of the sizes that sold, they sold out pretty good. And then I'm working on a hybrid leash. I went out to Orlando from the last time I talked to you guys, to a show called Pet Global, and I met with a manufacturer who has these magnet clips, and these magnet clips are really cool because they can hold about 700 pounds of resistance. But what's cool about them, they're easy to clip off and clip on. But what I noticed out there is that, people had leashes, people had slip leads. I'm working on a hybrid leash to where it's basically going to be, you're going to have your lead, it's going to have a magnet on the end of it. You can unclip it, and you're going to be able to turn it, modify it into just a regular clip leash, or it'll have an additional part where you can unclip it and it'll have a slip lead on it. So you'll be able to invest into one leash that it'll be a slip leash and a
You're
normal leash.
making life too easy. I need you to stop.
I was just like, there's an opening right here. No one's doing this shit.
Right? And like Flint. That's
Yeah.
Hey,
um
Stan, look, we got another question.
yeah.
Okay.
How do you get your dog in glycemic stage with staying away from sugar? What fruit would be a good idea?
Say that again.
How to get your dog in glycemic stage without staying away from sugars? What fruit would be a good idea?
Anything berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. I like berries. Just make sure that you blend them. That's what I would recommend. A lot of people feed them whole, but it's easier just to blend them. You can do apples and bananas too. Just be consistent with it.
The
Oh yeah.
blueberries are heavy in antioxidants, so that's a 2-for-1 there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're
Double
loaded
kick.
with them.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I know people that that's the only fruit that they actually feed their dogs is blueberries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
ours like blueberries quite a
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
they're loaded with antioxidants, and they're great for anti-aging and everything else. They're just loaded with nutrients.
Oh, that's
If you can if you can, go to the frozen section and get wild blueberries, and just if they won't eat them frozen, just thaw them out. They got like 10 times the nutrients as a normal blueberry.
The wild.
awesome.
Yeah, you can get them frozen. They flash freeze them, and they're tinier,
Yeah.
but they'll just say wild blueberries on them.
I do know some folks that what they'll do is they'll get those blueberries, and then they'll put it with Greek yogurt, and then they'll refreeze it. And like
Yeah, you can do that.
little nuggets of, so they're like snack size, but it has, the calcium, it has the protein and the antioxidants in it.
If you get the Bulgarian, you can find it in a lot of stores. You can get Bulgarian yogurt or kefir, and you're going to get a
Mhm.
lot of the probiotics and live probiotics in it as well.
I was
So it's really
fixing
good for that.
to say that
Yeah.
I use the kefir. Well, I call it kefir, but
Yeah.
KEFER. Yeah.
Who else is anybody here Greek or Bulgarian? I have two Bulgarian friends, and they're not on here right now. Otherwise, I'd be like, how do you pronounce that?
But I share it with the dogs. They love it, and it's good for a few things there with the live culture in it. Also, I drink it myself.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it is.
If you can get the plain, some of the fruit ones will have a little bit higher sugar in it, but dogs love it too. You can do the same thing with that. That'd be great to take to shows too.
Oh yeah, definitely good little snacks here, there, little rewards, you know.
Sour cream's actually really good too.
What is?
Sour
What?
cream.
Oh yeah.
It's good for their stomachs.
I didn't know
And if you get sauerkraut, it's really good too. But there's different kinds you can get. You need to try to find the kind that's refrigerated, because if it's on the shelf, it doesn't have the culture that one that's refrigerated does.
Yeah, we talked about sauerkraut on that last episode. It's because you want to add fermented food. It's just a fermented cabbage, you know. And
Yeah, that's
It's
right. That's right.
really
We
good
do.
for their stomachs, for their microbiome and all that.
I don't know if I can bring sauerkraut into this house. I can't even stand like the look of it. I
Really?
can't even stand the look of it or the smell. Is
Yeah,
I love that shit.
wait till you mix it
I
with sour cream and then
I
look at it. It's
lived
not
in Germany, so you would think that'd be like, after living in Germany for as long as I did, like it'd be like, oh, so you know, you like German food. I'm just like, I can pretty much stomach almost everything other than sauerkraut. And they're like, really? Because that's kind of a staple. I'm like, not the way they eat it differently over there. They actually eat it cold in a lot of cases. I'm like,
Yeah, my grandpa's German, and my grandma always made sauerkraut and beef liver.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
no, I'm sure. I mean, the homemade stuff like that, I'm sure, like it's much more redeemable than the stuff in the jar.
Raul, that's on here tonight, actually has some videos on that. But there's a process that he has talked about where if you're transitioning from like kibble to raw, he uses sour cream and sauerkraut to do that, to phase out the kibble and phase in the raw. He goes through, depending on the dog. Normally maybe 4 days, but one of my dogs took about 2 weeks. I had to really do it slow.
Yeah.
To get their stomachs ready for the full-time raw. But that's what we use: sour cream and sauerkraut. And it does look pretty gross mixed together.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and it's not pleasant. I'm not happy about it. Like, thank you. Oh my God. Wait, always a cottage cheese. Yes, cottage cheese is
Oh, that
also.
is a good one. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a really
Ron, we had discussed this a little earlier, but you were asking about like what age would you start training for weight pulling. As far as the actual technical training to get them in the act, like to get them, predisposed to the act of pulling. Obviously, you can do that at any point with an unweighted harness, unweighted vest.
Well, look,
But
let
the
me
most.
not cutting you off, but when I was training my dogs to weight pull when they was puppies, I would put the vest on them. Like if they were like 12 weeks, I would put the vest on them, and I would hook jugs to them to make a lot of racket, so they can get used to the noise.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can get
That
used to
works.
the noise
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mhm.
But I started putting weight on them a little bit about 8 month old, but I wouldn't do heavy weight. I just let them get used to that, because when you put heavy weight on a
Yeah,
pup
they
like
need to
that,
feel resistance.
you'll break their spirit. They don't want to pull
Yeah,
then. So
that was the point I was going to make. Make sure that they win. At the end, like in the competitions, they always let them finish the pull, even if it's assisted, because
yeah,
you don't want to break their spirit.
right.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Ron, yeah, so that kind of goes a little bit more into detail. Let's see how it's growing. Yeah, let's see here. So, Sam, this is something that even I've been kind of curious about, that maybe you have some thoughts on. So, and XLs have the tendency to, I mean, when they grow, it's exponential. Sometimes it's just so rapid and just. So I know that with humans, this becomes a problem when you're growing too rapidly. It's painful. There's some other side effects that ultimately come into play. Is there a way that you would recommend kind of easing that if you feel like they're growing so fast that it's almost detrimental?
Just keep weight off of them. Don't have too much weight on them. The most important thing is just if you can strengthen the stabilizer muscles, but not overloading the stabilizer muscles. Um, you know, have you ever had one of your dogs you noticed that they're in noticeable pain as your XL?
So I actually had a friend who had a Great Dane that
Okay.
like not even like a year, not even a year and a half between that time frame, and they were just limping around like it just kind of sucked to move, and it's like he literally grew like a foot, in such a short amount of time that like dude was worried. He was like, oh my gosh, I mean, I've never had a dog grow this fast. I was asking other Dane owners, and they say that that's actually kind of abnormal, and he just looks like he's in pain. Is he in pain because he's growing too fast? And that was something I was like, I mean, there's the potential for that, because obviously with human beings,
I guess the rule of thumb I would suggest, I mean, just this is based off a hypothesis, is just making sure that you're feeding foods that are low in inflammation, because I know that when I have joint issues, I'm usually inflamed. It's usually a sign of inflammation. So just, not overfeeding the dogs and putting the right foods in their body would probably be the thing that I would recommend. Stay away from pain medications and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Let's see here. Hope that answered most of your question, Ron. But yeah, if when it comes to adding like significant amount of weights for weight training, yeah, you definitely want to make sure your dog's at an appropriate age for that, so you're not causing permanent damage with their joints and whatnot. Let's see here. I lost track of all the comments. Bruce, did you see anything that
It was one
Yes.
kind of back a little bit. Derek, he said, my dogs look his best during 5 days on 1 to 2 hours a day. Then they are rest. What ratio would you actually work best if diet 100%? The same across the board, one on, one off, workout wise or something like that. Workout wise, I guess he was saying.
I mean, every dog's going to be different. You just got to be able to read your dog, again, breed makes a difference. I mean, I know certain breeds that 2 hours a day isn't nothing to them. Like that's a jog in the park. And I'm talking heavy workload.
those
My
mountain
Staffy,
never turn off?
yeah, my Staffy wouldn't even walk anywhere. He had to trot and run everywhere. Like that's just who he was.
Yep.
So it just depends. On every dog's different. I've seen bullies with super high drive, and I've seen with low drive. You just got to kind of read your dog and kind of estimate there. I mean, if you're working out your dog 5 days a week, I would say you're an overachieving dog owner, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, and if it's working, stay with it. If he looks his best at 5 days, working an hour or two a day, depending on what type of work you're doing, why switch it up,
So what kind of carbohydrates do you add when you personally, if you're using a raw diet, what do you prefer to put in there for those good calories?
Well, if you read about, there's no carbohydrates is not read on the back of dog foods, so like it's not really considered a nutrient. But if I was to add any like fillers like that, then you could, like I said, white rice, quinoa is really good, maybe whole rolled oats,
Yeah.
But I would try to get the most of my calories through proteins and fats.
They don't know nothing about that quinoa, Stan. They don't know nothing about that stuff, man.
Quinoa?
Yeah, quinoa.
That quinoa?
Yeah, I like
I
quinoa
gotta
because
say it. I
it's
guess
high
first and
protein.
foremost.
I like
It's,
it too.
it's one of the
Such a
higher
weird
protein.
word.
Yeah.
It's one of the higher protein.
We like sweet potato.
Right? Yeah, sweet potato's good too. It's pretty good.
For us, we use it with body weight. So if they need a little more or a little less, sometimes we use the healthy carbs for that.
Yeah.
But I guess you could call it filler, but it just depends. But yeah, they don't need it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I do. I recommend to our clients who are dogs, so they feel like their dogs are underweight. I usually read their diet, and if their diet's like a grain-free, yeah, I'll definitely recommend sweet potato, white rice, quinoa, or oatmeal, or a combination of all four. They'll knock them out of ketosis, and they generally gain 3 to 5%.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
interesting to talk
People
about
have
giving
even
me
used.
biscuits.
Sorry, people have even used candy yams to knock them out of
Yeah,
ketosis.
candy yams is good.
Instead of just regular sweet potatoes, you can get the candy yams.
Yeah.
That'll knock them out of it too. Yeah.
Dang.
They like them too.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm sure
yeah.
they do.
Go ahead, Bruce. What were you
I was
saying?
about to say, I was going to ask the audience, do we have any more questions?
All I know is that Christina was saying, "Give me biscuits."
Oh,
I don't know if that was
oh, she's talking
code for
about
something for
quinoa, I
you.
guess.
Maybe so. I don't know.
I don't know. You better be giving her some biscuits
I
though.
was just,
She's
There we
worried.
no,
go.
she said she don't know
Give
nothing
her
about no
some
quinoa, no
biscuits.
quinoa,
I guess
no.
she wants me to
No
break
quinoa
bread, huh?
biscuits. Let's see here. Would you say? Okay, so Ron's got another question. Would you say that an XL kind of fall into the modern band dog because some mastiff influence in the breed? Um, I find that it's. I'm sorry, but it is actually ridiculously easy to be able to pick out an XL that has a mastiff influence in it. Period. A lot of the XLs that have like the older school bloodlines, Razor's Edge, Gotti Line, things like that, they're gonna look the part. They're gonna look like they're supposed to. But you can pick out the dogs that have more mastiff type features, the looser skin, the drooped eyes, the ear set's even different. I mean that the way that the skull is shaped, all of it, it's all so different that it should be easy to pick out. So would I say that XLs nowadays are closer to what would fall into the band dog category? Unfortunately, yeah, there's a significant amount of them. There's an unfortunate amount of them. But the good part about it is there's a lot of really, really good breeders out there that aren't going to do that to you. They're sticking to the original formula, and they're not trying to add any kind of other features. Like they go to the Mastiff to add size, pure and simple. And if there's no other reason they're doing it, like there's no other attributes that a Mastiff of any breed or type can provide other than size that the XL Bull doesn't have. So it's not worth it. So definitely make sure you research the breeder. You make sure you research the lineage. Get visuals on the dogs and the pedigree. Don't just read the names and be like, "Oh, that sounds good." Actually look at pictures from those dogs in their past throughout their lives, so that way you can take a look at what's in the background. So if you find one that's a little mastiff like looking, I'd be raising some questions for sure. Let's see here. Make Excel's great again. That's right, Adam. Let's see
So
here.
do you still show?
Who?
You, sir.
Me?
Yes, sir.
No, I got out of showing probably back in 2003, 2004. That's when I got, yeah. I originally started with like Rock and Ruby Blood way back in the day, really early.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah,
beautiful.
it was an interesting story because I think it was Remy's third breeding, and he was bred to a dog by the name of Gina Jules, and that dog wasn't supposed to be in that breeder's hand. Cruz had ended up giving the dog to a friend of his, and a friend of his ended up selling the dog to this guy. And so it kind of caused an uproar when I got my hands on it, just because it wasn't supposed to get out of that their pool, So it just was one of those things. But the politics is what pushed me out. Like it just got to, it's the same thing, nothing
Yeah.
changed. It's still the same thing,
Oh yeah. No, the politics do exist, unfortunately. But
And it's in all breeds. I mean, I shot those Bourbons this
oh, you should
weekend.
see the poodle people go at it. Oh my God, they're so mean. These people
Yeah,
are mean and savage. I was like, oh my God,
I didn't have
you
hardly
own
any
poodles.
Bourbon people, and then all of a sudden I shoot these Bourbons, and then my inbox I get about 100 messages from other people who think they had better Bourbons. like okay,
Whatever you say,
yeah,
pumpkin.
Everybody,
That is a massive dog.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, those are
the dogs
gigantic.
that they had too. I mean, they were tight skin.
yeah.
Some of they had that are showing the tight skin. I think I'm going to get behind one of their younger dogs to help campaign them. And it was really interesting because I was like, man, if the XLs breeders get their hands on one of these, it could be. I don't know, man. It could really mess some things up.
Hey,
'Cause
hey,
the dogs were nice. I mean, great top line, great angulation, tight feet, just really cleaned up. I mean, if you would have kept the tail and cropped the ears, you almost would have said you had a 190-pound XL.
Right. I mean, they are out of all of the breeds that are bully in structure and appearance, I would say that Borbals are probably what would be the least conspicuous
Yeah.
if you added it
And
in.
then, like, I mean,
Just
I
can't
think
duplicate that bully smile though.
No, you
You
can't.
can't.
You can't. No other dog can. Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Lord.
just so
I
good.
seen one at the ICBR show in February when I went to Carolinas. What was that? They Nationals. Man, it was a
Mhm.
black one there, 190 pounds,
Yeah.
clean feet,
yeah,
good top line.
I don't know how you have clean
He's
feet with
bad,
that
man.
weight.
That boy, it was something serious.
yeah.
Dang.
And then is there just like any breed? I mean, you can get some shit shows too,
Yeah.
and
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
you got some train wrecks in every single breed. I've seen some. Hell, I've seen Weimaraners that look a little on the rough side. I'm
Hey, you
like,
know what though? The thing about them, I did research on them about 5 years ago because I wanted to get into them. Maybe it was longer than that. But the thing is about them Borbles, you cannot breed them before you get them tested. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have to have a score. If they don't
oh,
make that score, you won't get papers on them.
woo!
And you got to
Oh, I
take them
like
to
that oversight.
three different judges to get them appraised.
sounds fair
That's
to me.
I
Yeah,
can dig it. I can dig that.
three
I love that oversight.
different judges.
That's some good stuff. I like that.
Caleb.
I think something
Caleb's
that.
got a really good question on here. You can
Why
see.
are the stud books not closed?
Hey, there
We
we
don't
go.
have a breed club. Excuse me. Sorry, I was. Pollen's killing me.
Well, I, maybe somebody else might not say it, but I will. I think, I think there's plenty of blood within our breed right now.
We shouldn't be having to go outside anymore. It's been 20 years.
You know.
Um,
It was one more question that we skipped.
was there?
Yeah,
Hit me with
King asked the question. He said, when your dog's actually training, do you feed your dog normal diet or added workout meals? I can't hardly see y'all. Like an athlete, or what is your
see what
approach on
happened.
diet quality? I can't hardly see this.
So am I to understand that the question is, do you feed them differently versus when they're in active training versus their normal diet when they're, it's the routine exercise.
I think it just depends on the dog and what your goal is. If you can get more calories in, if you say your goal is to add more muscle density, the more caloric intake of high quality proteins and healthy fats are going to help if your dog is willing to eat it. And your dog should, if you work them out right, your dog will eat. Like I did a post the other day where I was like, there's no such thing as a picky eater. The dog is either overfed a certain nutrient and you keep feeding it and it's telling you it doesn't need it anymore, or you're not working your dog out, enough. And some people got offended by it. And I was just, I mean, show me a conditioned dog that's a picky eater, or that's
Yeah.
It
not.
could be really, really bad kibble too. That's I tell you what, I made a run to Dollar General one night for my Great Pyrenees, and I said, well, he'd be all right. I'll beef it up a little bit, and got him just a little something. Next thing I know, I hear him knocking the bowl all the way off the porch. I went out there,
What is this pizzle?
like he wouldn't take one bite of it. I mean, he wouldn't touch it. And I said, I know, I'm sorry, bud. I had to get right. I had to get back in line. He wasn't going to stand for it.
Yeah.
He had to keep you in line.
Yeah, he
Caleb
did.
also came up with another good question. He was asking you, Stan, if you have a recommendation, would you recommend swimming as exercise, and how would you go about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Swimming is probably one of the best exercises you can do for a dog. It's so easy on the joints, and it's definitely going to improve your dog's overall cardiovascular, conditioning. And so, yeah, I highly recommend swimming for sure.
Do
Hey,
you have any
real
way, tricks of the trade as far as introducing them to swimming?
Just like anything else that you would introduce them to, you got to get them acclimated and low and slow, and take your time, be patient, and I have dogs that absolutely love water, and I have a dog that can't stand water. You know, and so
Hey, look, go ahead. Hey, it's back in 2005 at the ABKC show. It was a guy in Atlanta. It was a show in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and this dog came in the show, and man, he had muscles on top of muscles. And I had to go up and ask him. I said, "Man, what do you do
Yeah.
to work this dog out?" He said, "I swim in 5 days a week." He takes him out in a boat and just let it swim around like in the middle of a
Hmm.
pond and just let it swim a little bit and then get him, let him rest, and put him back out there again. He said that's how he had man shoulders. I had some pictures of that dog, but I never seen a dog like that ever in my life. Ever.
yeah, and just make sure your
Oh,
dog can swim too, because I thought I had this, and I thought all dogs knew how to doggy paddle and swim. And my staffy jumped in the pool and sank to the bottom, and I had to
some
go in
of
there and get.
they're heavy. They got density of a
Yeah,
collapsed star. Like
Man.
this,
It's good. It's
my
a good
pocket, there
confidence
ain't no
builder
way he's
too
swimming. Like
to
not without
swim
help.
dogs.
Like you'd have to wear a vest. But as a matter of fact, for anybody that's watching, a good authority on any kind of water aerobics for the dogs. Corey Latham and Vicky, they Southern Hearts Bullies. They actually, that's how they train their dogs. All their dogs, they actually have a line across their pool, and they use like swim vests, and then they have them, with the line, keeping them above water and everything. They go ahead and get their swimming in, and it's yeah, their dogs are impressive for sure.
yeah. I mean, I mean, if you have the opportunity to swim your dog, you should swim them for sure.
I think swimming is a good confidence builder in a dog
Mhm.
too, because when they first get in the water, they, just 30 seconds, they're looking for a way out because they don't think they can swim any longer than that. And then, the more you work with them on it, they realize they can really swim for a long time if they want to.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they did that study on was it mice or rats? Did you ever hear about that study where so they put these rats in there like in a pool, and the rats, I'll have to look it up, but basically the rats swam for a minute, but then they put him in again and they saved him, right? And they put him in again. The duration, and the rats could only swim for a minute. Eventually, could swim almost 24 hours or 48 hours because there was hope. It was like a hope test, right? If
Yeah.
there's just hope, if there's hope there,
I'm gonna keep
then they were able to
swimming
swim.
until someone gets me out of this water.
Yeah, so it was like a mindset thing. But yeah, yeah, man, swimming is an excellent form of exercise for your dogs.
Awesome. Just also worry about water going down the hatch and down
I
the
guess
nostrils as well.
if I was you, I would start a puppy out in the tub, giving them baths, and then you could probably start them out in the tub, and then you could monitor that and teach them how to swim at a young age. That would probably help out a lot.
You could do like a light weighted vest with like emergency release floaties
Yeah.
for swimming dogs.
Also,
I was looking
take
at
a
doing
fall
something
on it.
like that, but the liability insurance on that was just like, man,
Yeah, I bet that,
it
yeah.
wasn't
I'd
worth it. I was
be
like,
like,
I'm okay.
oh yeah, they're gonna leave that one to someone else. Then there we
Yeah, I
go.
do not want to be
We'll go with
responsible
parachute.
for a
Parachute
vest.
will be that one.
But
Um,
it's an innovative idea for sure.
oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Did
probably
you?
couldn't insure it. I agree.
Yeah, someone find a way to make it work where the liability isn't completely through the roof. Did you want to do one of the drawings? Because I know you have
Whenever.
two of them, so
And
you didn't know
well,
if you
here's
wanted
the
to.
deal. We're gonna double up the giveaway, so there can be 4 winners tonight.
Guys, oh my God, we love him. Okay, so with that being said, I've got everybody up until this very moment that has liked that post, shared that post, and then come back and commented that they've shared it. If you did not do even so much as one of those 3 things, I couldn't put your name. I'm so sorry. No, Caleb, you were not in the drawing.
What?
You were one of us.
My wife just had a good point. She said swimming would be a really good way to work a dog before their bone plates seal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so low in
it's
impact.
essentially it's a zero. It's like a zero impact. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do a lot of rehabilitation in those hydro mills. And
Hmm.
it's a mill that's basically watered up to your dog's chest. It's really low
Oh,
impact.
all right, I'm ready if y'all are. All right, first name, Cammy Bates. Cammy
Ah,
Bates. All right.
congratulations.
So what you guys are going to be doing is when you win, I will go ahead and I will message you. I will need you to give me your phone number and your email address so that Stan can reach out, get your address and all that good jazz.
Now get
So
their address for me. Yeah,
I will get their address for
yeah,
you. Never mind. I'll get their phone number, email address, and address.
yeah,
I
yeah.
am here for
And
it.
then we'll need to
So
know size collar that you guys are going to need. So I don't know if that was for the black or the camouflage, but you just go to the site.
we can start with the camo one. And then as far as size is concerned, that will be on the actual link that you showed me, correct?
Yeah.
So I can provide the sizes to the, okay. Awesome, awesome. Let's spice it up a bit. We'll do, this next one will be the black leash and collar combo. Sheila Wallace.
Oh, nice. I know who
Sheila
that is.
Wallace.
She has some Danes.
Oh, she has Danes. How nice.
Yep. Really nice ones too.
Perfect. All right. I will be reaching out to you, Miss Sheila, to get your information for Stan. All right. Oh, Jonathan Kisimba,
Jonathan.
the cucumber. That'll be a camo. Awesome. I'll reach out and get your stuff, sir. Oh, Corso. She likes Corso, she says.
Oh yeah. Of course it does.
All right. Last name, guys, and this is for the black one. Lindsay Nix.
Lindsay
Lindsay
Nix.
Nix.
Yeah, Shepherds.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for all the sharing and for participation and just kind of getting the word out there. We had a lot of great people come in, a lot of great questions, some new faces, which I love, seeing new faces and new questions and new trains of thoughts. It's super fun. It's why we do what we do. So, but thank you again, Stan, for providing that for us. I think that is just completely amazing that you were willing to do that, especially, on such short notice. So I think that's amazing. Does anybody at all have any more questions to round off the night? Anybody? Anybody? I'm trying to ignore you, Caleb. I know you're mad. you want it.
His daughter's birthday, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, tell her I said happy birthday.
Oh, do you hear that, Caleb? All right, let's see here. Okay, I mean, I think we're solid, Stan. I really appreciate you coming in, and I mean that's a lot of information. So
Nice to
I'm
meet you,
glad
man.
that
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah,
that's
any you guys have any questions, again, you don't have to purchase our products. Just message me. Give me about 24 hours. I'll get back to you. And whatever any questions you have that we can do to help you, maximize your dog's genetic potential, we're here to help.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So guys, be looking for that new vest to come out towards the end of this week. If you had any questions regarding it, obviously you can either look back on the live. He listed the additions, the updates, things like that. Otherwise, he'll have that information for you when they launch. So again, thank you. And this has been a great night, and I really appreciate everybody that tuned in. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and share it again, just in case somebody's eyes hadn't made with it, so that way we can get that out there. Because again, so much information was shared tonight, so we definitely want it in as many hands as humanly possible. So
Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much again for having me on, and man, we gotta do it again soon.
Oh, absolutely. Always a pleasure having you on, sir.
All right, talk to y'all soon.
Absolutely.
All right, good night.
Have a great night. Two trains.